Good morning, retailers, and welcome to the Monday edition of the GTS Retailer to Publisher webinar series. I'm Scott Bohr, your category manager for gaming specialty products here at GTS, and that covers role-playing games, miniatures games, and gaming accessories like dice and dice trays and all the fun stuff that helps enhance your gaming experience. Before I introduce your speaker for today, I just want to go over Zoom and some of the functionality that you can use to interact with our host. As you know, you're muted. So the way that you can interact is to hover your mouse over your screen, and then you'll see down at the bottom there's a chat window, a chat button. If you're on your phone, it's in that little three-dot area. You can get to the chat that way. And then once you click on that button, you'll be given the option to send a message. Down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a message option there for either all panelists, which is Chris and myself, or all panelists and attendees, which will provide your message out to everyone so that everyone on the call can see it. So without further ado, I do want to hand over the virtual microphone to Chris Birch from Modiphius Entertainment. He's going to talk to us today to give us some information about current and upcoming releases for their popular RPG and miniatures lines, including Star Trek Adventures RPG, the upcoming Dishonored RPG, Fallout Wasteland Warfare, which has an RPG and a miniatures game component to it, as well as the Elder Scroll Call to Arms miniatures game. So Chris, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
Thanks a lot. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us again. It's a great opportunity to show you some fun stuff, and I'll try and keep it to fun details because I know the guys will have all the business details you have. So let's do a quick IT handover to screen share. And right, let's see if this is working. There we go. How's that look?
Yep, I see it.
Right, so off we go. So I'm just going to rattle through stuff by brand in order, and I'm on full screen share, so I can't see your questions, but I will. Maybe we can do all the questions at the end because I won't see them pop up. Right.
Chris, go ahead. I can also keep an eye on the chat window. Just
oh, sure. Just interrupt me then if there's anything. Yeah, let's try and do it as we go. So one thing which is the stuff that's like coming right now is the Dishonored role-playing game, which is it's a lovely digest size, so it's that nice handy table format that we've started to explore with some of the new releases. This is, if you know, the Dishonored series of role-playing games by Bethesda, particularly Arcane Studios, is awesome role-playing setting in this what is often called whale punk, basically steampunk setting. And we've drawn together all the amazing concept art they've got from the game. Has a whole 4-act mini campaign inside as well. And we have got further products in the work for this, including a GM screen and dice set that we're probably looking at coming through into the spring. And this should be hitting distribution round about now, or already. Maybe you've already got it. Okay, so some exciting little miniatures here. So Call to Arms, we push back new releases until September to give hopefully everyone a chance to get open again. So the 2 sets that come out this month expand the game with adventurers. So that's the adventurers faction. And so you've got one set there with Janassa, Vorstag, Mjol the Lioness, Mercurio, and Dekethus. As you can see, you've got some different races coming in now. Then you've got the adventurer allies, Lydia, Carjo, an Orc, Barbarian, Carjit Bandit, and a Breton Ranger. So this is a kind of really fun way for people to expand the miniatures game now with both a new faction, but also their adventurers that can be added to either the Imperials or Stormcloaks. And these are supported by the game expansions. So the main one, which is coming in October, is the Civil War, Chapter 1 Civil War card pack. So this a bit like the Fallout releases, well actually exactly like the Fallout releases, this card pack has all the cards for our Chapter 1 releases. So that is all the Imperials and Stormcloak releases, the Adventurers and Adversaries, such as the Draugr and Skeletons, which you're about to see. It has lots of new Battle Mode and Delve quest cards, traps and events that expand on the narrative adventure game side. Lots of new spells, armor, enchantments. It's overall 218 cards. And that covers all the sets that we're releasing through until the end of January. So we no longer put the cards in the boxes, just like Fallout. We think it's better for the customer to have one purchase that gets them all the cards, and then they only need to buy the miniature sets that they actually really want, as opposed to forcing them to buy every single set. Now, what is coming, and it's kind of, this is all working its way through approvals, is we have two really fun expansions. There's a Civil War campaign book. This lets you fight the Stormcloaks and Imperial Legion Civil War through as a versus campaign, where you're fighting your way across a map towards a big siege battle. Or you can play it solo up against the other force, depending on who you want to play. It's just working title. It's not an exciting name. The Settlement campaign book, it will have a better name, honest, is also coming in the spring. And that's something we're working on right now. And we know it's one of the most anticipated products. Again, it's a book, and it is a whole campaign designed for solo or co-op mode that lets you rebuild and protect a small settlement through a very big narrative campaign against a growing threat that changes with each game you play. And you have a whole narrative quest that lets you make various choices. So you can play it through multiple times. It introduces a new campaign mode where you are doing all sorts of things during each mission, and letting you to create buildings, train characters, level up, etc. So we're having a lot of fun with that. And then in October, alongside the card pack, we're adding in the officers. So you've got the Imperial officers on the left: General Tullius, Legate Reich, a Priestess of Arche, an Imperial headsman ready to chop her head off, and an Imperial captain. On the Stormcloak side, you've got Ulfric Stormcloak, Galmar Stonefist, Heimskar Stormcloak, Quartermaster, and Stormcloak General. In November, we are reinforcing the Draugr. So you've got the Draugr Ancient set, which I think is going to be very popular. So you've got the big hulking Draugr that are so dangerous when you go delving, and the Restless Draugr, and a Ruthless Draugr Deathlord. And then as general reinforcements, you've got the Restless Draugr with swords, and then Draugr warriors with axes and shields. And alongside this, just out of interest, there is a PDF that's going to be coming, which is the Draugr as a playable faction to support these, as well as we'll be releasing a PDF adventure online every month to support the community. The Draugr as a playable faction is an interim set of rules and cards which players can print off if they really want to play a Deathlord as a character and lead their Draugr against the poor Stormcloaks. So in December, we get the reinforcements for both of the main factions. So you've got the Stormcloak Skirmishers, that's a couple of archers, and a Stormcloak Huntsman, who's a much more powerful archer. And then you've got the Stormcloak Swordsman. Again, we are mixing and matching. You've got one person wielding two-handed, another with a sword and shield, and another with just a sword. And then you have the Imperial Legion reinforcements. So you've got Imperial archers and the Imperial soldiers in heavy armor. This is one of our biggest launches. Had so much response on this, has been great. Is the Klingon Empire core rulebook. So just to reinforce, this is a whole core rulebook. You don't need the original Star Trek Adventures core book. This is all about Klingon-focused stories of honor and glory. It's a slightly updated version of the 2D20 game system, including some errata and other small updates, some simplification. A lot of lore about the Klingon Empire. There's a large selection of Klingon NPCs and an introductory adventure. And also, in the same way that we've designed the Star Trek books, lots of excerpts of personal logs and intercepted communications, giving you a unique perspective on the Klingons. And as you can see, there's the two books. There's the collector's edition that's also coming to retail. And there are dice sets and a GM screen in production at the moment as well, which I think we're looking at this spring they'll hit. And those dice sets will probably be the main Star Trek dice sets we'll offer initially. We've got some small restocks of the normal division sets, but we're planning more for the spring as well. Okay, jumping across to Vampire. In October, we have the Vampire the Masquerade Blood and Discipline deck. This is a pretty chunky card pack, which is 121 poker cards that reference everything you need for disciplines: blood, sorcery powers, rituals, and the thin blood alchemy. So it's 80 color and symbol coded cards for referencing disciplines, and 41 cards that include all the blood, sorcery powers, and rituals, and thin blood alchemy powers. So in November, we get the Enclave, and just wanted to highlight that there is this Enclave retail bundle, which gets you the main core box, the Hellfire set, the High Command character set, the Enclave Wave card expansion pack, and also a nice bonus of the Mechanist promo miniature and its promo special edition card. And this is at a slight discount as if you bought all of those through normally individually through your distributor. So, but we are looking for you to place orders for this by the 30th of September, so we can assure everyone gets enough. Just running through individually. So then we have the Enclave. Obviously, this is the last vestiges of the pre-war government. It's a much anticipated faction, lots of cool new power armor. This main set has the officer, two of the normal power armored troopers, often called in their sort of Black Devil armor, and two of the Tesla troopers. In November, we also get the High Command character set on the left. And we also get the Hellfire set, which is the dudes with big flame guns. One of the most exciting things we've been waiting on is Frank Horrigan, the ultimate walking tank. He's been an experiment at the hands of the Enclave for some time, and is a brutal adversary on the table, and he's even standing on what's left of a Deathclaw. So it's pretty cool. He's a big miniature. And then the card packs, just as a reminder to support these, you've got the Enclave Wave card pack. Again, all the rules for the units, weapons, and equipment in the Enclave Wave. This also includes new AI cards, again, for each unit. Chems, mods, events, dangers, and more. This covers all the sets and a few more I'm about to show you, plus all the Mirelurk creatures. In December, we get the Denizens of the Wasteland card deck. So this allows you to field a creature faction force, or to combine creatures with your other faction. And it also includes cards for things like the Rabid Mole, the Weak Behemoth, a young Rad Scorpion, a young Mirelurk Queen. There's new cards, which are new conditioning and new command cards for creatures, AI, and equipment. And then typical bites and different claws and weapons. So in January, you have the T45 power armor. Again, another set people have been waiting on. It's the classic power armor. It's unaligned, so people can use it with any faction. And then in February, we returned for 2 more sets for the Enclave. The Tesla set, so it's 2 more Tesla power armored soldiers, and a standard soldier set, so they can expand out their force. And the big news that we can announce today, this is actually a press release going out right now, and is going on social media in a few minutes, is the Mojave region expansion is coming spring 2021. So yes, this is finally official news that the New Vegas range is coming to Fallout in a big way. And the fans have been guessing that it's coming because, of course, we put out the Ranger model as a promo early in the year, but we haven't actually said, yes, it's coming or when it's coming. And you get about to see a few revealed miniatures. I'm just going to take you into some of the information here. So yes, it's the NCR and the Caesar's Legion are joining the game. You'll be able to read this press release online and in the emails that are going out. It's a great onboarding product. So many people have been waiting for the New Vegas range. We think a lot of people are going to pick up Fallout with this coming. You only need the 2-player starter set. There is a box set, and it's something we're moving to now with all the Fallout launches, is that there's going to be an expansion box, not a card pack. The expansion box will have effectively the card pack inside, but it will also, I realise we're losing a bit of text at the bottom, it will also have a booklet of missions, of hobby guide, painting guides, any new rules, and so on. So we're trying to make it a more rounded experience. You get a lot of new reinforcements for the super mutants with this. There's the brutal Nightkin, new allies such as Tabitha and Marcus. There's the Securitrons for the robot fans, and lots of new Vegas survivors companions. You've got the a little bit more information. There's obviously an epic conflict around the Hoover Dam that is tied in with the campaign. Lots of interesting characters such as Legate Lanius, Volpes and Coulter, Praetorians and Scouts, and then there's the New California Republic's characters like Chief Hanlon, Gorobets, etc. Lots of Rangers and Troopers. Let's see a few of those now. So here's some of the Caesar's Legion characters. A lot of there's more melee weapons and some great looks to them. And then we have the NCR. There's a new Ranger there on the left-hand side. New, more power armor, the classic Rangers and soldiers of the NCR. And that is it.
Fantastic.
Back to video.
Yeah. It's like a great range of products coming out for a number of the popular lines.
Yeah. I probably didn't mention, obviously June is coming.
Oh, June, yes.
People wondering about that. It's going to hit retail in the spring. So just as a kind of heads up for that. We should be starting the retail pre-order. I think it's either December or January. Obviously, the movie's coming. I don't know if all of you have seen the film trailer, which is pretty awesome. So that's it's going to be great with that coming out in December. Fingers crossed, there's no more lockdowns. But we think the sense is it's going to be a lot bigger than we all thought. We were going to do a June role-playing game, whether there was a movie or not. So, but it's an added bonus that it's what looks to be a really fantastic movie is coming along to support it. The role-playing game is we've got all our own artwork for it, and kind of somewhat follows its own style. But there's a lot of really, really fun products and really nice collector's editions, and also, you know, the main art edition, different dice sets and campaign books and so on. So you can expect the usual range of products to come out through 21 onwards. There's also Acton Cthulhu. Just kind of giving you a heads up of what's coming out on the radar. Acton Cthulhu, the 2D20 edition, has been written for some time now. We're doing all new artwork for it. The quick start will come out, I believe, in November, to start the, you know, teasing people and getting people playing it. There's actually going to be a sequel to the quick start, to keep people going with more missions. And we're hoping for a kind of late spring, kind of end of Q1, maybe early Q2 retail launch. And that will be a player's guide and games master's guide, and a campaign book with Forest of Fear, which is set in the Ardennes, which is loosely based, well, it's alongside the same storyline as the Acton Cthulhu Tactics video game that you can get on Steam and PS4 and Xbox. So, you know, it's really great to finally, after 8 years, it will be 9 years by the time it comes out, to go back to that world. And we've got so much planned for it, and some really exciting developments. And there's a board game coming for Acton Cthulhu next year, which we've been working on for a couple of years, but it's had to wait in the queue for other games to get finished. But can't wait to see the light of day. I think that's it on the radar. We did also announce Homeworld, the role-playing game. That's going to be coming out later next year. Obviously got pushed back because of lockdown. And then the only other thing, I think there's always something else on the radar. The only other big thing was the Fallout 2D20 role-playing game, which also obviously got pushed back heavily because of the lockdown. But it's back in development. They're working on it. It's actually all in approvals for the text, so it's just a matter of time. But I think we're probably looking at late Q1 or sort of early Q2 for that. I think that's it.
You guys have a busy calendar.
Questions if you can think of something that I've not talked about.
Yeah, lots of busy stuff coming up. I think you did mention Devil's Run earlier in our pre.
Oh yes, yeah. So that is one of our. We actually have this new brand called Via Modiphius. So it's kind of part of the Via Modiphius line, which is we just started to separate out our partner products where we're effectively helping to distribute someone else's product. But it also happens to be the first licensed 2D20 game. So where our partner Mark Langworthy at Red Scar has taken the 2D20 rules and used it for the game. So that's really exciting to see that. But you're going to be seeing a lot more Via Modiphius products coming to retail. We're just starting to work on a card deck for Rangers of Shadowdeep. So if any of you have been selling the Rangers of Shadowdeep Deluxe Edition, there's a really nice card deck coming next year for that. I've got any release data on it yet, but it's going to be a really good companion product. Then we've got some other sort of smaller titles that we're going to be helping to launch into retail, especially a lot of solo miniature game products, miniature games rules. So we're going quite heavy into what we call adventure war games, where there is a heavy narrative element and certainly solo or co-op gameplay. And we think this is going to be a big growth area over the coming year. It was coming anyway because of the rise of co-op miniature games, but especially with lockdown and potentially, you know, more lockdowns coming, we think this is going to be a big area that people are going to invest time in.
I think it's also wise to cover all those bases with a product line. So you've got people who want to play solo games can play your game. People who want to play co-op can play your game. People who want to play PvP can play your game, or even larger formats. So I think that's just a good strategy overall. I will just mention there were a couple things you mentioned on the call that we actually haven't gotten solicitations on. So I do need to get with impressions on that and make sure we have those. And that's the Draugr Guardians and the Enclave retail bundle. So for our retailers on the call, if you're interested in the bundle, we'll have that in hopefully later today. I think Chris gave us enough information on that slide for us to go ahead and get the product into our system. So we won't have a problem there, but it's just a matter of making sure we have all the artwork we need and everything to get that advertised.
Yeah, we've got till the end of the month
Yep.
to pick up the orders for that. So say the 1st of October, I guess. So.
Yep. So I'll get that in as soon as possible today, and we'll go forward with that. And then there is one question in the Q&A about will there be any sort of additional organized play for Fallout or organized play for Elder Scrolls?
Good question. So, and I'd love to hear back from you guys. Are you getting your organized play going again? Are you able to run store demos again? So we pause any of the organized play packs being made until, because certainly in Europe, the stores are very, very limited about what they can do in store. What we are trying to do is, I've had some meetings recently about helping to connect wargamers. We just did a big survey for Fallout, and of course, there's always people who've stopped playing the game, or and we know a lot of those are because of COVID, that they've their local store isn't running games, their local club is shut down or whatever. So we know that one of the biggest problems out there is people finding someone to play with. So we're starting a big initiative with, I've forgotten the name of the website, but you'll find out soon. And it's, there's actually a couple of sites. One is very focused around role players, and another is they're going to switch on a whole war game feature. So our goal is to really help connect people with someone that they can play a war game with. It's a lot easier for a war game. You only need one person, whereas with a role-playing game, you need a GM, or you need 3 or 4 players. So we're doing also that for the role-playing. We're really going to focus on, actually this one site is RPG Table Finder, that we're going to be backing in a big way to help people find gamers locally, also online. And even a store could set up a game there, or we will encourage people, if they can, to work with their local store. But the more people who are able to run a game, we think the more people will want to buy products to support it. The other initiative that we're going to be working on is a big GM teaching seminar, which is going to teach people to be a GM for any game. We don't care. We're going to try and bring together a really great program, and but then we're going to spin out of that is a 2D20 teaching program that will help teach people to be a 2D20 games master. And again, we think the more people that are learning how to play and connecting with players will mean that they're going to come and find all the accessories and supporting products in their store. I think one of the big issues, and I'll hold my hand up too, is that I've got lots of great role-playing core books, and I bought it thinking this is going to be amazing, I can't wait to play it with my group, and then for whatever reason we had to play something else, or the group didn't meet up. And I think the more reasons, the more easier we can make it for people to meet up and play will really help. But I'd love to know if how many of you are back to running organised play. We do have an organised play kit that was designed for Elder Scrolls that was obviously put on hold because of COVID. And we, talking to a lot of people in the industry, it seemed that it wasn't really going to be until the spring that people really got their in-store capacity back. But it'd be great to hear if any of you are up and running again.
Yeah, so retailers, if you do have questions, are you up and running? As Chris asked, are you up and running? Are you able to do OP at this point? I know it varies state to state, and even in some places, county or city levels have different rules and regulations in place. So go ahead and pop those answers into the Zoom chat if you don't mind, just to give Chris kind of a feel for where your store is at. And then there is another question running back to the Fallout 1, Fallout Wave 1 cards, and whether or not those will be physical cards made available or not.
It's a good question. I missed that card deck. So yes, there is a card deck coming in November, which is the Wave 1 Fundamentals card deck. So currently all the Wave 1 releases still have cards in because it's the stock. We kept making them with the remaining stock that we had. But any restocks as of this month that we ship out won't have cards in, and it is marked on the back of the box. So there's a new Wave 1 Fundamentals card deck, which has all the cards for the units and the AI and the weapons for the Wave 1 sets. So those first 3 or 4 Survivors, Brotherhood of Steel, and Super Mutant sets. So we'll there should be a solicitation for that.
I did just pop that code into the chat. So if you're looking for the code for that Wave 1 Fundamentals card deck, it's in the chat window now.
Ah, great. Perfect. Yeah, sorry. I knew there was something. It
looks like most of the responses coming back are that people are running it at organized play with limited capacity.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's, I mean, we've also, we uploaded the whole starter set for Fallout and Elder Scrolls to Tabletop Simulator because we knew there's a lot of gamers who just can't get together with anyone. So we figured that if we can at least keep them playing, it will keep the game in their lives, and also hopefully give them the reason to pick up miniatures. We do know a lot of people are buying miniatures to paint as well, even if they can't play. So we're looking at how we can support the community through this virtual service, and how we can help connect them again. I did see a question about Dishonored. Yes, there is an adventure that is going through approvals at the moment. So hopefully that will join the spring releases as well. And yes, it's it seems to be doing well. I would imagine that we'll see a lot more for Dishonored coming up through next year.
We've seen a great response for Dishonored, so I'm excited about that line and the potential for it to grow as well.
Great. Okay, cool.
Great.
Yeah, and then I think you'd expect to see the kind of organized play kits from us for the spring for Fallout and Elder Scrolls. We actually are going to make there's some current sets that Impressions should have in stock, which I believe, I'm going to see if I can quickly check in the background here, are the Raiders and the Institute organized play sets. So we are looking at making those maybe available on our web store, so they're more easily accessible for players. And then again, just hoping that we can get people finding reasons to play again.
Yeah, gotta keep the habit going.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm checking real quick here. Yes, I see one here. I'll put the code here for the Fallout Wasteland Warfare Organized Play Kit number 2.
Yeah. Yes, there's the Raiders Organized Play Pack, which is the 051981 code.
051981.
Great. I think, and there should be a Institute one, but doesn't seem to be showing. Do you have another code as well?
I'm checking now to see if we do. Let's see. No, it's just that one for now.
Okay, I'll look into that. There should be. Maybe
See
it's
if the other one's maybe not available anymore. Make a note here to talk to Impressions about that as well.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, we'll let you know on that for sure. Okay, can these games be played one-on-one, games master and one player? Manuel says. I get. Are you talking about all the role-playing games, or the like Dishonored? I guess the
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, if I was role playing with a small group, like one person, I would usually bring in maybe an NPC or two, perhaps a companion for them that they control, maybe an NPC that I control. So yeah, it's definitely possible. It's a little bit harder for the, well, in some sense it's easier because you've only got to focus on one person, and it's more fun for the player because they get all the attention. But you also don't get the playoff between two or three players in the room, which can often really help the games master. But it's, yeah, there's nothing there to stop you mechanically doing it.
Okay, any additional questions for Chris on the product lines Fallout, Vampire, Dishonored? Scott does say that the OP Kit 2 is currently showing out of stock on our side, but that just means we need to order more to fill your demand. So Scott, if you do have, or anybody else, if you do have demand for the OP Kit for Fallout, go ahead and talk to your GTS sales rep and we'll get that ordered in for you. Make sure you have it.
Cool. All right.
Well, I don't see any additional questions. If anybody has anything, please go ahead and pop that into the chat window. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap things up and get you returned to the rest of your day.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Yes, thanks. Thank you, retailers, for joining. Thank you, Chris, for your time. We really appreciate it. If you're watching this video on YouTube, we want to make sure that that you know that you can click like and subscribe, and you'll get notifications of upcoming videos. Chris, any last words you want to part with?
Gosh, I think I covered everything, all the missing bits. But yeah, I mean, thanks everyone for your support, and it's great that to see that you're there, and we're doing what we can to push customers your way and recommend that they do everything they can to support their local gaming store through these difficult times. And we always love to get feedback, even if it's bad. So if you think we're doing something badly, or well, but particularly if you think there's something wrong with the product, we'd love to hear that. And anything you think we could improve with. So,
Chris, do you want to give an email address for retailers
Sure.
who want to reach out to you?
You can here we go. You can just email me directly, chris@modiphius.com.
Great. We'll make sure that gets added.
Yeah.
I'll put that into this here. There. Now we have it all set up for attendees as well. So, all right, Chris, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all the fabulous products that Modiphius gives us to sell, so that we can help entertain people as they kind of go through this process that we're in right now. Retailers, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for your time. We know it's a precious commodity, and we want to return as much of that back to you today as we can. So thank you very much for attending, and we'll see you all next time.